It's like the best video ever.
This is crazy.
We got 25 minutes. We gotta go.
Hey!
Happy Hump Day.
Hump Day. We need a
What's
camera.
going on, Say That Nation? Happy Hump Day, Janelle.
Happy Hump Day, Winston. Super excited for today.
Today is going to actually be a first for us. And so we are absolutely ecstatic about that. I hope you guys are all doing well. Drop it in the chat, guys. Let us know where you guys are tuning in from. If you're watching us live, if this is a replay, again, just comment where you guys are tuning in from, and we'll get back to you guys later. All right, let's see what we got. All right, Janelle, let's cue this one up. I'm excited to even share the clip with one of our last guests. So,
all right. So many of you know that we have had some really amazing guests these last couple of Wednesdays. Really and truly, we've been blessed with the type of people who've been able to come on and provide all this value to you all as new entrepreneurs in your own businesses. And so we have a repeat guest who is bringing with her someone who she actually said she wanted us to meet. And so many of you remember Ellen. She provided so much information. It was amazing. But what was key is that she actually pointed us to a specific individual that she wanted us to have on. And we are super excited to have a business coach extraordinaire with us today. We have both Ellen Wright and Alex Michell.
So let's show you guys a little clip of just what Janelle is talking about when Ellen, if you remember, her interior designer, just her story was absolutely incredibly powerful. And we'll share a little bit about what she talked about that day.
Dozens of business books, and they all say that, and I get it. I get why they say it. We only have so much energy before we need to go sleep again, and our brains, like, we're already on devices and distracting ourselves, and our brains are so cluttered. What is it, like the fork in the garbage disposal brains? And it's screaming at you all the time, and it's now we're going back to headspace. Learning the tools to calm the voice so that you can laser focus on something in a day and age where we have the attention span of a goldfish is really important. And that's for anything. This applies to any industry anyone goes into, is you have to be in the right headspace first. Otherwise, you won't have time to work out. That's the quote. It's like, I don't have time. Make time. It has to be non-negotiable or you're sunk. Hire people. When your business gets to a point where you can't do it all on your own, find a budget, change your business plan, take out a small business loan. And that all falls within the asking for help bubble. Because one person can't do all that stuff. Anyone who knows anything about entrepreneurship knows it takes a village to make that happen. It is not like one genius that just created it all. It's like the idea guy and then all the integrators that make it happen. Surround yourself with integrators. Like for me, it was surrounding myself with a bookkeeper that knew how to do math. It was a liability to my business for me to ever even look at my books at all. My wife is a Broadway stage manager, so she is like master integrator. So she has been a huge help in the paperwork aspect of all of this stuff. So it's all about asking for help, getting a therapist, getting a business coach. My favorite, a business coach that I highly recommend, Alexander Michell, support at alexmitchellconsulting.com. She offers complimentary business strategy sessions. Complimentary. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain.
That sounds like another guest we may have on.
Oh my gosh, please. Oh, please. She's my favorite. Her and
Hi, my gosh, I wish I could just hug you right now, Ellen. My goodness gracious. There we go.
Virtual hugs,
I love
virtual
you too,
hugs.
girl. Everybody. And thank you,
Welcome
gosh,
to the
that was
show,
lovely.
you
That was
guys.
absolutely beautiful. I appreciate that. I appreciate you.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, we are just as excited to have you on with us today, Alex. So we would love to get, hold on. We have to talk about what today's question is.
Let's get that drum roll going, Jay. So today's question is,
could a business coach be the missing piece to your business success?
The
how
answer is
apropos,
yes.
right? How apropos.
Probably.
All right, so
Easy.
25 minutes on the clock. Let's get it.
All right, awesome. So Alex, before you start to answer this question, and before Ellen, you helped to describe what that process was like for you working with Alex, if you could just tell us a little bit about how you got into this, like why business coaching, why working with other entrepreneurs, what did you come from before? Like, is this something that you always knew that you wanted to do? Tell us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. I'll try to give you the abbreviated version. First of all, Janelle and Winston, I really appreciate being on your show. And Ellen, thank you so much for the shout out a couple of weeks ago. So the short version is my background is marketing and sales. I used to be marketing director for Business Week magazine, and I did promotions and marketing at Time Out, and I did marketing at Chanel. So I have this great marketing and sales and promotion and events background. My husband and I moved to Hawaii about 11 years ago. And in Hawaii, you kind of have to bring your business with you. There's not a lot of the same industries as in New York, of course. And after a couple of years, I was working at a newspaper. I had an idea for a job. A career. And I started my own business. It was a grocery shopping and delivery service. I built it from scratch. I had those sleepless nights and, waking up at 2 a.m, like, I don't know what to do. How am I going to do this? So moving forward, the business started taking off, which was really great. But as you can imagine, living in Hawaii is very seasonal. So I needed something else to do to bring the money in. I started working for this company. I was selling websites, and I'm going into meeting with people. And the first thing I'm asking them is, tell me about your business. I can't be a salesperson and not know how you're going to use the product. And as I was talking to them about their business, I'm like, well, who's your target audience? They're like, oh, everybody. And I'm like, no, that's not correct. And well, what's your pricing? Well, it depends on this person or that person. I'm like, no, that's not going to work. So over time and really listening to people, I'm like, they really need somebody who's going to give guidance. And I have this great background that I can do that with. So I partnered with the Small Business Development Center, started doing some free seminars because I just really wanted to help, the rising tide lift all boats, and I wanted to help my community. And after a while, people asked me, hey, can you work with me? Can you help me? I don't know what a target audience is. I don't know the problem solution dynamic. And that's how I became a business coach. And I've been a coach now almost 9 years. Oh, wow. And it's great. It's been absolutely great. I love it. For me, it's a lot of fun. I look at it as it's a puzzle. Everybody's business is a different puzzle. I fully always believe the answer is out there. We just have to put the puzzle pieces together. And that's pretty much what I do. And I just really enjoy doing it. And I feel like I am making an impact because I'm able to help people get out of that fear and anxiety and really have a clear path.
That's amazing.
This is already good. We haven't even gotten to the question. I know Ellen just said it.
You're done. It was great to talk to you guys. Okay.
I know. Thanks for being on today, guys.
Everyone call Alex. You're welcome.
Oh my goodness.
Well, okay. So now that we know, this is where this is how you arrived, and now it's been 9 years walking this path, and you bump into Ellen, right? And tell us, like, what is that like in terms of working with someone brand spanking new? Like, how do you know, essentially, to answer the question, how do you know that you are that missing piece, and how do you convey that you are that missing piece to their puzzle for their business?
Part of it for me is, as I mentioned earlier, I started my own business, and I don't even mean talking about the business that I'm in now with my business coaching. I started a business completely from scratch. My own idea. I did my own research. I didn't have a business coach, and I know what that feels like. I come from a really empathetic place of completely understanding gosh, this is really frightening. This is really confusing. I probably have done this before. I know this answer. And then I start pulling in my event experience, my background, and my sales, and how to deal with objections. So when I bump into somebody like Ellen or anybody who has a business, and maybe they've been doing it for a couple of years, but they're really not making any money. And at that point, it is just an expensive hobby, my friends. You really have to look. If I'm not making money, what I'm doing, I need to make a shift. So I deliberately offer this complimentary consultation because it is about, let me see if there's a way I can help. And no matter who calls me during that 1 hour, it's usually like 1 hour, I will always provide, and this is a guaranteed out into the world, I always provide complimentary advice, or something so that you can take it. If I never see you again, you can hang up that phone or disconnect the Zoom and go, okay, I at least know what to do on this. So I do have that complimentary session just because I do need to learn about the business, but I'm hearing other things other than the business. I might be hearing a limiting belief. I might be hearing somebody talk about, well, my pricing isn't set and I'm not really sure. And I'm like, well, let's talk about that. And why are you changing your pricing? Well, I have to get the business. And I'm like, that's not how you get business. So because I've been through it before, because I've been doing it for so long, I know that a lot of entrepreneurs have questions. The questions are always different, but they just need somebody who's just going to help them out.
And that has to happen in more than just a consultation. The consultation is wonderful. The free consultation is amazing. You do get the actionable steps, but it is not to be replaced by actually hiring a coach full time. It is a crucial step. Like one complimentary phone session might get you through day one, but what are you going to do? What are you going to do for the rest of the time? How fast do you want to succeed?
Right.
Just because you can buy a scalpel on Amazon doesn't mean you have the skills to be a brain surgeon.
Yeah.
You need to be taught by multiple specialists in order to become an expert at your idea, at whatever it is you do. You are not expected to
Ellen,
know it all.
Can you get into that a little bit more? Can you talk about like where you were in your state of your business?
About that. Yeah, where exactly? Literally, where were you? Because we remember a little bit about that, but where did Alex actually step in with you? Because I love when Alex, and then I'll turn this back to Alex. I have another one, but Ellen, can you share that part?
It was a happy accident, really, and I was one of those people that, because I have a history of being very broke and never having enough money to do literally anything, and there was no way I was going to have the money or find the money to do anything really productive for myself. So I was stumbling along, trying to do it on my own, like a scrappy idiot, and
Not an idiot. No.
Tidbit of advice. No, that's true. Sorry, I should not ever use that word. That's me. See, you just saw it. You just saw the old mind kicking in. That insecurity, that icky little like energy vampire on your shoulder. That's like, I will suck your life force. I will drink you dry. You are mine.
Sitting on your shoulder.
Good catch.
But I was not doing anything productive towards being a successful entrepreneur, and I had absolutely no idea what I didn't know. And then I stumbled into a person that introduced me to a person that introduced me to a BNI chapter. Oh, wow. And like overnight, so that is where I met Alex. Oh. And they have the one-to-ones. You set up, you get to know the members on a one-to-one basis. And I had my one-to-one with Alex, and in like the first 5 minutes of the phone conversation, she asked me like amazing questions, and I answered them to the best of my ability. And she said, "Oh, you just need to do this. Next question. Oh, yep, here's the solution to that. Next question." And I was sitting there at the end of that hour conversation going, "Oh my God, why have I not done this sooner?" I just did everything she told me to do. Like I didn't even question it. I immediately started charging more, and then I immediately started making more. It was literally that easy, genie in a bottle.
Yeah. And I remember that conversation because it was talking about pricing, and I was like, well, yeah, don't do that. And maybe have it this way instead of doing this, doing that. Because for me, it is so very clear what needs to be done when I'm talking to somebody. I'm like just now with that little like, no, don't call yourself an idiot. That's a negative thought, limiting beliefs and everything else. But it is definitely, me listening to well, wait, here's where the hole is. Here's where the puzzle piece is. If you're not making enough money and you're spending more time with your clients than you want to, then you should be charging more money. And if that means that you need to fix your target market and who you're going after, then we make that adjustment. But you're not going to make any money getting less money and spending more time. And I want to also clarify, I have a business coach. I started working with my business coach 3 years ago because I was on the hamster wheel. I was spending a lot of time. It wasn't a expensive hobby at that point, but I wasn't making the money that I really wanted to make. And it's really funny because I kind of cleared things off my calendar even before I met her. I just knew, I was like, you know what? This isn't working. I need to get rid of these extraneous things that are not helping me. And then I met her about 8 months later, and I'd been working with her for 2 years. And she helped me transform my business. And I will tell you this, she has a business coach.
They all do, guys. Like, they all do. Every single self, like the gurus out there have a business coach.
Yeah.
It's like the circle of life.
It makes such a big difference. And I'm not, saying it to promote myself. I'm just showing you that if you want to grow your business, if you're in that moment of, I just don't know what to do, I'm stuck, reach out and find yourself the right business coach. Find somebody who's going to help you with your business. And there's all kinds. There's people that just focus on revenue. They'll talk to you about sales. They'll talk to you about money. They'll talk to you about one thing. There are some that are really more holistic. And they will, I spoke to this woman a few weeks ago who had almost like a holistic business coach, but was really working with her from the inside out. I actually have a good friend of mine who is a intuitive business coach. She's in Hawaii, and she is like my counterpart, because I don't work from intuition. I say I'm more boots on the ground, but she'll go back into a limiting belief that you had from the time you were 5 years old. Oh, wow. And she'll help unpack that and show you how that's impacting you as a business owner or an executive. She works a lot with executives, but that's how deep it can go. There's help out there for you to help your dream come true, whatever that dream might be.
So why that what you just said is so interesting to me is I'm thinking about me personally now. Ellen talked a little about into fitness, what we do in our industry in relationship marketing. And one, I want to touch on this idea of target audiences, because I do think a lot of people who are marketing or selling something has this idea that everyone can use my service. Everyone can, take in whatever it is. But one of the things you just touched on, and then I want you, or both of you, or I guess Alex, to get into this, is this idea of one, coaches having coaching. One, I'm a personal trainer in some sense, and I remember talking to a client, and the idea of me having someone train me, and I was sharing with them, like, for the last 6 months I've been training, not really making as much progress. Got on we're a 60-day program with a coach, and I've seen more. Mind you, I know all the workouts, I know the diet stuff, I know these things, but it's needing someone else. And Ellen got into this a little bit when she was on. Is that idea of being burnt out? Like, you may not realize that you're just going, but you're not being effective.
Right.
So I'm showing up to the gym as much, but I've gotten more results in 47 days with having a coach me than I had in 7 months of putting in in my mind, the same amount of effort. But I can see results now. So I'd love if you could dive into what brought you to that point of saying I needed someone else. I know you said you were on that hamster wheel, but what was your realization for you that I need someone to help me with this because I'm not getting that?
Me, absolutely. Well, it was like I said, it was a few years ago, and I'd been a coach at that point, I think about 6 years. And it was good. I was getting clients. I was in a networking group. I knew some of the general stuff, but I just felt like I was working really, really hard. And I was doing, it's that whole thing about, when you do the same thing and you expect a different outcome, that's the definition of crazy. But in business, that's the definition of just, just exhaustion. Because, I'm working hard. I'm doing this, like you haven't changed anything. So for me, what happened was I got an email, and it was this person who had been getting her newsletters for a while, and she had said, okay, how about it was like a November, and we're going to kick off for like 2018, preparing for 2018. And I'm like, okay, this is a free webinar and I'll do this. And at the end of it, she sold me into like a seminar. And then after that, I was like, this is exactly what I was looking for. And that was the key thing. I had been looking for something and I didn't know what I was looking for. I knew I needed help. I didn't know where to go. And her email, I won't even say her email came at the right time, because I was preparing for it that whole time as I was clearing my schedule, waiting for something. But I wasn't making enough, to answer your question, I wasn't making enough money, and I was working really, really, really hard, barely getting any sleep, waking up and doing the same thing. And I'm like, there has got to be a better way, because I knew people needed my help. I was getting good results with the people who I was working with. But I just was not, I was just like at that point where you're just not making it over that point. And my coach just made all the difference in the world. And then it was funny, because when she's like, oh, and my business coach, I was like, holy crap, she's got a business coach. I should have a business coach. I mean, it's key. And if I could do something with you, Winston, that'll just take like a minute. So you said you're a trainer, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So everybody needs a trainer. Not everybody works out. So if you take, and I just want to show you an example of finding your target market. So if you said, well, everybody needs a trainer, I would say, no, not everybody wants to work out. So let's start with, this is the group right here. What kind of training do you do? What kind of personal training do you do?
Strength training.
Strength. Not everybody wants strength. You got women who want to do Zumba. You got women who want to do workouts. You got people who don't want to get muscly. So now you just narrowed it down, right? Now you just narrowed it down. So, and do you specialize in anything with your training?
Weight loss, and I think fitness modeling is a part of it. Somebody who'd want to get into that type of that level of fitness.
Right. Not everybody wants to get. So now it just narrowed down.
Wow.
Everybody wants a trainer to so here's your focus. For example, your focus are going to be men and women. If you do men and women, I don't know if you prefer one and the other. Men and women looking to get fit and maybe become professional or amateur fitness models. But now when you make it this narrow, now you know your messaging. Now you know you're not going to say, hey, everybody, I'm a fitness trainer. You're going to say, men and women of this age range who want to be, fit and, look great and, professional fitness models, come to me. I'm your person who's going to help you. Because otherwise you're spending all your marketing dollars and your advertising dollars and time out here when you should be here.
Wow.
That's an example.
Free consultation.
I'm in coaching right now.
That was 2 minutes free consultation. Wow, that was good.
So.
And that answered my target marketing thing, because I was going to ask, what does that process look like? I know you talked about a little bit with what happened with Ellen. So where were you, Ellen, with this, I guess the same, because she mentioned, what was the pricing that you were considering changing? Or
I mean, when I first started my business, I had a friend who was entrepreneurial, and she offered to mentor me. I didn't even ask, she just offered, and I said, okay. So technically she was my first kind of coach, I guess. And she gave me a lot of actionable steps and things I could do that had been successful for her. And on day one, I really needed that. But it made me really nervous, and I felt stupid all the time. And I felt guilty to reach out to someone. I felt like I would look stupid because Janelle, I live in constant fear because of my learning disabilities of looking stupid and being, ridiculed for that. Just that's like childhood school memories, past junk.
Yeah.
But I said yes, and I followed the steps that she told me to take. I just did them, and something wonderful happened from every single one of them. And then that motivated me to continue on. And I started asking more questions to other people. I had an architect I was working with mentored me, and she sat me down one day and gave me sort of the lay of the land. And then I stumbled across a real estate agent with a new client, a new lead that was buying a new apartment. And the real estate agent and I hit it off. And she invited me to her BNI chapter. This is where I met Alex. Now, this was the first time that I had ever done anything truly substantial for my business. I was still just skipping along thinking I was doing enough, because you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
And I met Alex. I met a bunch of other amazing people, but I learned real quick, oh, this is what I didn't know. And here's a group of people that can help me. And I sat down and with Alex, and she said, okay, like here's 25 more steps you can take in your business. And I said, oh my gosh, okay. And I did all of them, and they like all worked. And then that made me realize, oh my gosh. And this is the question I want to ask everyone who's watching. How fast do you want to get to your happy place?
Yeah.
Because the choice is yours, but you probably can't do it on your own. Unless you are a business coach and can coach yourself. But in that case, you don't, but then you also still need a coach, we've established. So.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I was like, yeah, no,
so it's about how long do you want to struggle? And if you think, oh, I'm fine, I can't afford it, or whatever the excuse is, and I get it, I had the same exact excuses. Look at your life, look at your choices, and ask yourself, how well has this system been working for you? Because I had been stumbling along for about 2.5 years, thinking I was doing enough. If somebody had come to me and said, Ellen, you need to take out, just trust me. If you don't have the money, take out a loan. It doesn't have to be huge, but like take out a loan, you're going to hire this business coach. It doesn't even matter what genre. You can fine tune it later. This isn't like your lifetime business coach. It's like finding a therapist. You have to date a few, metaphorically, before you like find the one that you like vibe with, that you can sit across a table from and like really dig deep and learn how to be your best self. But if I had just done that, at the beginning of year one, I can't even imagine how much faster I would have grown. I wouldn't have had to wait 3 years to get to today.
Yeah. But for you though, we don't know what we don't know. And so many times as you're building the business, it's literally like, building the plane as you're flying in the air. It's like, oh, I need a wing. Oh, I need to have this. Oh, I need the rudder. Oh crap, I have to land. I guess I got to build the wheels so I don't bounce off the ground. So I get that. I absolutely get that, because that's what I did when I built my grocery shopping business. That's exactly what I did. But then over time is when I was like, okay, something has to change. And one thought that kept, just spinning around in my head was, what is my, this time next year, where do I want to be? This time next year, what do I want to have different in my business? And how am I going to get there? How am I going to get to the place where I'm either not worried about money, I'm not worried about clients, I have more free time, I have more free space, I can hire somebody to clean my house instead of spending my Saturdays and Sundays cleaning my house and doing laundry. What does my 1 year from today look like? And what's the difference today that's going to help me get there? And that's where I got myself a business coach. And then that's when I ask people when I'm on that call, because people will, here's, dropping the problem, and we can talk about the problem, but then I'll say, what's going to make the difference? Oh, well, I don't want to do this because this is going to be I'm not even talking about money. It might take too much time, or, it might take too much energy, or, oh, I'm really not sure. And I'm like, well, what's the change you're going to make today that's going to make a difference for you? And it's surprising that when I ask that question, some people just don't know. Or I say, what do you want your business to look like a year from now? And some people are just blank. And right there, that tells me they need a business coach. If you can't envision your business, if you're working in your business for 2 years, 1 year, 5 years, but you don't have a vision of what it looks like for next year, then you definitely need somebody. Because and again, I'm not saying that anybody's, reaching out to hire me as a coach immediately or anything like that, but you should be working on your goals. You should absolutely have a goal that you're setting, even now while we're at the end of the year, but you should already start planning your goals for 2022. How much money do you want to make? How many more clients do you want to have? How many more products do you want to sell? You should know that before January, because if in January you wake up and you go, it's a new year, now I'm going to start thinking about my business, you're already 3 months too late. Because technically in November, you should be working on your January money and clients and goals.
Thank you for that. That is a huge nugget. If any of you who are out there listening, like, if you're listening to this, like, oh man, she's talking to me, like, what's going on? Like, I haven't been thinking about this. She's talking to me right now. First of all, I've already been putting up like where people can find you, because obviously there are probably tons of people on here right now who are like, I need to go find Alex. We need to have a conversation. That free consult is real. And I know we're rounding up on the end of our time, but I am super curious to know, like, based on everybody that you've kind of worked with so far, if you could say what's like the top two things that you find that most people need to consider working on. Winston, how are we doing on time?
It's over. The time.
Oh.
So, one, we can definitely take that into overtime, and I already have two other questions. I had one thing, Jay, if you want to throw there it is. I have one person who actually specifically, I told them who I was going to have on. They were like, I'm going to be live. I just had one question I wanted to throw out to end this, Alex, and then Janelle will pick up yours in overtime. You guys, if you're a Patreon subscriber already, you already know Janelle will throw that in the chat so you guys can subscribe. The question she had was, and I thought this would be great because Ellen is on as well. The story she's telling herself now is, I need to have a business mind before I can really have success in my business. And I think, again, when Ellen shared her story and what that process looked like, I know she attracted you and how that all went, but what would you say to that person? We have a lot of people on here. Again, they're just starting business. They've never taken a business course. They have no, I mean, Ellen had an extensive background in an industry with a lot of other entrepreneurial people. What would you say to that person that, they read the books, they're out there, but they've told themselves, I got to get a business mindset before I'll have success in the business?
I don't believe there's anything as a business mindset. There's a desire to do what you want to do. And I don't mean I want to live the life that I want and I don't want anybody to tell me what to do. That is almost nonsense, because as much as you say, I want to work for myself and I don't want my boss telling me when I can take vacation, your clients are going to be dictating your life if you're an entrepreneur. Just know that. Just know that. And that's okay, because you're going to be doing what you want to do. The business mindset is knowing your product, knowing what your goals are, and more than anything, it's something that I would talk about. It's what I call the problem solution dynamic. Is your product or service providing a solution to somebody's problem? If it is, that's all you need. Because all you need to know is that this is going to help somebody's anything, and there's a target audience out there that wants it. Everything else will come. The business mindset will come, because then you'll talk about sales and marketing and how to deal with objections and all of these other things. So, that's almost like, it can almost be seen as an excuse or a limiting belief that prevents you from moving forward. And I don't believe in those.
Say that, and we'll drop the mic on this half right there. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
So much fun.
No, absolutely. And again, you heard me say it, guys. We are taking this conversation to overtime because Janelle had a bomb I know she was about to throw, and I have two other ones that I wanted to ask and really get into. So if you have not yet subscribed to Patreon, I know it's up in the comments. You can find the rest of this conversation there. And again, thank you two ladies for being on with us today. This was amazing.
Thank you so much.
Ellen, you were not overhyping when you said that this woman was.
I told you.
No, you absolutely did. You absolutely
guys,
did.
Thank this one.
No. Thank you guys so much. All right, so let's close this one out, Jay.
I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. As always, remember, you deserve the good life. Say that,
guys. We'll see you guys next Wednesday. Find us on Patreon.